Hey guys, it's Rachel. I know that it's a Sunday evening, but I wasn't able to make a video on Thursday because I've had Tracy here until last night, and we spent a couple of days at a spa and hotel, which was lovely because we had massage and in-head massage and pedicures and saunas and aroma rooms and relaxation rooms, and just like a lot of fun together and catching up. And I just realised that I was going to make this video and intertwine it with my video for next week, as in make my video next Thursday and include both of these. But I figured I would put it up today. Excuse the state, I am incredibly exhausted. How I am exhausted after just like a few days of like doing absolutely nothing, I have no idea. But I haven't had a chance to watch Ariel's video, so I'm not too sure what she's covered and what maybe I'm going to cover and could overlap. What I've taken this week's rota from, the initial sort of inspiration, comes from this book. It's called The Drawing Mind, Silence Your Inner Critic and Release Your Creative Spirit, okay? It's by somebody called Deborah Putney. I think that's how you would spell it. And basically the book she's basically asking us to not worry about making mistakes. That as children we take risks and we don't necessarily worry about what people will think about what we've drawn, about what we've written, about anything creative. So it's about kind of having a sketchbook, which is all to do with inner expression. It has nothing to do with being a good drawer, like nothing to do with whether you're talented at drawing or not. And it's just about going into an artist's world and using what's within you to create. So I'm going to flick this, okay, and I am going to say to you, for example, okay, what we try to control our lives, our days, our thoughts and ideas, and what if we practice losing that control in our drawing and experience a loss of control and find that that's actually okay, that like nothing's going to happen, and maybe turn it into a positive experience. So it says here, it sounds a bit crazy, attach a black Sharpie or a thick marker to a pipe cleaner or string and make as many different marks as you can. And using that same pipe cleaner drawing tool, close your eyes and draw. Use your other hand. So if you're right-handed, use your left hand. If you're left-handed, use your right hand and swap it between. And she also wants you to put the sketchbook on the floor and to make as many marks as you can. So all it's to do with, really, I guess, is a subconscious thing, is how I would interpret that. And so what she does in the book is she leaves you with a blank page. I mean, you can use this as your sketchbook. I don't know how easily available this is. That's something I didn't check. I actually bought it when I was in New York from a bookshop there. And I guess that's just about doodling, scribbling, closing your eyes, just moving with what's perhaps there. She also suggests something to do with, if you think about, if you sketch just your head, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything, it can just be like a round thing, you know, and imagine that being your mind. You can just put like my head, my mind, whatever, and to maybe do different parts of it. Now, this doesn't need to be made up of the different parts of the brain, so it has nothing to do with that, but maybe a big part of it is sport. Maybe that's something you're very good at, and another part is art, another part is the kind of person you are, so outgoing, positive, there might be a sadness part, and to just kind of do a mind map of the different things that make up who you are and what your attributes are. So we don't have to see sadness as being negative. If that's what you feel is part of you, then that's fine as well. And to kind of build an idea of what sort of person you are from that. And I think that that's an incredibly positive experience in itself, because I know that it's not drawing itself, but it's putting pencil to paper, pen to paper, and kind of sketching yourself out almost. The other thing that I thought about, because the book talks about drawing your feelings, and one of the things I thought that you could do is come up with a list of, sorry, I'm just trying to find something else in here for you. I would come up with a list of maybe, let's think of, naming feelings is very difficult, isn't it? So let me give you some feelings. Okay, so how about we have 5 positive feelings? Okay, and this is an exercise I want you to try and do if you wish. So how would you draw happiness? Or scribble it. It doesn't have to be a sketch. It doesn't have to be anything. It can just be a so how do you, let's go with happiness, joy, energy, inspiration, and positivity. Okay, so things that move us forward. Okay, and then perhaps the barriers that can hold us back, or the emotions that we can use and shift them into something positive. We might have sadness, we may have things like anger, we may have things like anxiety, we may have things like, I don't know, insomnia. And people say fat isn't a feeling, but when you're struggling with feeling fat, it does feel like a feeling, and what maybe that feels like. And maybe try to come up, what I thought I could have done actually before this is do that myself, is try and come up, see what you come up with. You might find that on things like anger, you've used a pencil. I'd use a pencil actually, incredibly hard. You've made a really dark mark. For joy, it may be very kind of swervy. For happiness, it may move very up and down and around. For sadness, it might just be very slow. So doing that different type of thing as well. Here we go. Here's another right. Okay, draw anywhere, it says. And just take a look at that. As you can see, these are sketches. These aren't works of art. These aren't masterpieces. These are just sketches, and that's all. You don't need to draw something amazing. So draw while traveling. So you could be outside, you could be under a tree, and you could maybe just start to try and draw what's around you, what catches your eye. You can be... You can just be at a game somewhere. You could be waiting to, you could maybe be sat somewhere waiting to meet somebody, to pick somebody up. You could be in the car travelling. I won't suggest it while you're driving. You could be anywhere, sports event. You could be anywhere that maybe you would also find inspiration in writing, and you could try and draw some of that. And maybe carry a little sketchbook around with you, and maybe that sketchbook could include things like sights. You know, how would you draw sights, sounds, smells, textures, and even the emotions that you're feeling whilst you're there. So this is all, I mean, people find it difficult to write, but maybe this is a way of using drawing as a means of finding emotion, finding experience, expressing your world. And it's I wouldn't say that it's an easy thing to do, to be honest. And I think that it's a discipline, and it takes practice, and it might not be your thing. We're going to cover a number of things over this next couple of weeks. We're going to do writing, and we're going to use dance and movement and music. And you may find that those things are more for you. So what maybe is also worth thinking about is the role of something like art therapy. And although this isn't art therapy per se. It kind of is in many ways, because when you're in art therapy, again, people think you have to be able to draw or to paint or to do whatever, but you don't actually have to. So it's the same within like art therapy. You don't have to be able to draw. It's about taking a prompt or closing your eyes and say, closing your eyes, have the paintbrush, the paper and the paint, and just start with swirls and just see, and open your eye and see where it goes. And it doesn't have to mean anything. Sometimes they don't mean anything, but sometimes maybe it does. Maybe in reflection, maybe a year later you can look back at something you've drawn and thought, well, I obviously experienced that in quite an intense way, that drawing kind of where all the darkness is, where the lightness is. That's kind of where I'm at. A lot of my drawings were waves, which represented my depression. I had eyes in the corner of the page, which were feeling like people were watching me, feeling like I was constantly overshadowed or being watched. And I think sometimes at the time when you're doing this, and this is where you need some patience with yourself, you don't know particularly what it is you're drawing. And I think that that's okay too, because even if all you get out of it is the expression, it doesn't really matter if it makes sense or if it doesn't make sense. Something I bought one of my godchildren, Alicia, she's 14, is a doodle book, and it has things in it like wait until you're feeling really sad and doodle how you're feeling your sadness. So all of it is asking you to doodle according to different moods, different emotions, different thoughts. List 5 of your dreams. How would you doodle the face of this dream? If you achieve this dream, how would you picture it? How would you just kind of sketch it? Something that then Jocelyn, who's 10, my other goddaughter, picked up on was getting her own little journal book, and she started doodling. Like, you know, we might just sit and sort of do spins, and she ended up turning these things into characters, and based on the appearance of these characters that she was drawing, she'd put a name to them. I think she had something like 5 of them. So they're all things you can do. It doesn't matter that you're an adult. It really, anything. I quite often doodle, and it's a way when I'm sort of just sat here and I'm thinking and words are sort of coming into my head and I'm doodling, and I might start sketching them down. And it's about just letting the inner out in a creative way, which, even if it doesn't make sense, isn't anything, can actually move you forward. I hope I've made sense. I know some of it seems a bit strange, and even reading the book feels a bit strange, and that's why I bought it, because I was just fascinated by the ideas in it. And I hope that you can maybe test some of them out, and even if that's all you do, and even if all it is a distraction for you to keep you from negative thoughts, or you know, sort of keeping yourself safe or what have you. So I will see you on Thursday, guys. Okay, bye.